Hello and welcome to the Women's Challenge Cup final. Cliftonville come into this one chasing back-to-back cup triumphs. They've already collected silverware this year, the League Cup, after edging out Glentoran, but narrowly missed out on the league title to the same side. Tonight, they'll be looking to end their season on a high. Standing in their way, Linfield, third in the table and back in this cup final for the first time since 2019. They'll be hoping to make their return one to remember. Michael Clark has been speaking to both camps ahead of kick-off.
Brendan, back here again. How exciting is it, the opportunity to once again lift the Irish Cup?
It's brilliant, finish the season on a cup final is brilliant. We've done it the last 3 years, we've finished here. Lucky enough we won it last year, so it's brilliant under the lights and great occasion.
And having to shake off the disappointment of the league, I guess this is a nice easy way to lift the players again on an occasion like tonight.
Yep, definitely. We had to start the week off obviously with disappointment, but the players themselves lifted us all. Marissa too, even though she couldn't play tonight, lifted us all, helped lift us all. It was the players that lifted the staff more than anything. So
Marissa's suspension is the one blot on an otherwise fit bill of health for the rest of the team, I believe.
Fit bill of health. Obviously we would love to have Marissa here, and unfortunately it's her last game last week. She's retiring this season, so we're really disappointed we can't give her the showpiece final that she deserves. Just
how important is she for your team on and off the pitch?
She's massive for the club. Not just the team, but massive for the club, and so she's always a big miss. But we have great players and great leaders in the change room. Kelsey Burrows has become a great leader as a captain, so we know that we'll have her there.
And can we expect another ding-dong battle with Linfield here?
Absolutely, it's Cliftonville versus Linfield, so it's always a big occasion, no matter whether it's women, men, under 18s, 20s, under 10. Always a great occasion, always a good game.
And in terms of your expectations tonight from the players, what have you said to them? What's your big message coming into this?
To go and do what they're good at doing, to go and express themselves, and to make sure that they come off the pitch knowing that they've represented all the people they represent the best they can.
And I noticed you're nominated for Manager of the Year. Your head hasn't swollen too big. You've been able to get in here all right tonight. But how nice is that? A little bit of personal recognition.
It's lovely. But again, you've other managers there, and that were good managers. Steve's a great manager. Kim's won the league, so you have to give credit to them.
Ryan, cup finals, always an occasion to savour. How excited are you and your players ahead of tonight?
Yeah, very excited. Big stage. It's nice to be on the massive knockout competition of the women's game, and to go the whole way to the end of the final and finish off the league in the final is definitely a nice experience and one we have to enjoy.
It's been a while since Linfield have been here in this final. How important as a club is it to be back here, first of all?
Yeah, firstly that was the objective whenever I first came in, to try and get us back into these type of occasions, and ultimately it's taken 2 years to get to a final, and we're up against a very, very formidable opponent who's going for their third Irish Cup in three consecutive years, I think. So it's going to be difficult. But as I say, we have to enjoy it. It's nice to be at Windsor Park. It's nice for Linfield to be at Windsor Park, and again, we're just going to have to empty the tank and give it all.
And in terms of team news, you have a couple of very important players absent tonight. I'm sure that's always an opportunity for other players to step up to the mark.
Yeah, absolutely. Ashley Hutton misses out, obviously due to a back injury, and Zoe McGlynn got injured in the quarter-final of this cup. So yeah, they're two big misses. But as you say, it's an opportunity for some of the other girls who've been doing quite well and now to perform on the centre stage here tonight.
And for anyone who's maybe a bit more of a casual viewer tuning in for this final, a reminder that this isn't your home stadium, so this being on this pitch in these surroundings is a real experience for your players too.
Yeah, absolutely, and I guess that's where we want to take this game. The games came on leaps and bounds in the last 5 to 10 years, and that's a testament to the work that's went on by NIFL, Irish Football Association, and by the girls themselves who play the game week in, week out. There's an awful lot of sacrifices made. Yeah, so getting to a stage like this and a big stadium, national stadium, it's a brilliant achievement for everyone involved.
And finally, we've seen the quality all throughout the season of the teams up the top end of the table. You know how good Cliftonville are. What are you expecting from them tonight?
Yeah, as I said, they're trying to defend their Irish Cup, so they're not going to give it away lightly. So I'm sure it'll be blood and thunder. It's been blood and thunder in the previous matches in the league, so I don't expect anything different tonight.
It is an occasion to savour. You've heard what the managers have had to say. Cliftonville against Linfield, Reds versus the Blues. In the showpiece, of the women's footballing calendar. A meeting between holders and hopefuls. The teams in the tunnels. There is one key figure who we've heard is out due to her suspension, Marissa Callahan, who will be retiring at the end of this campaign. I wish she could be on the pitch, but made sure she was here to cheer on her teammates. And here come those teams. They met in the final in 2016. They're back here against each other in 2025, and while plenty has changed, one thing stays the same. It's a cup final and someone has to win it. Whose colours will be on it this year? Lots of families filling in to the stadium and taking their seat, young and old, ready for what they hope will be a brilliant spectacle between two teams who have delivered some brilliant football over the course of the campaign. And on a big open pitch like Windsor Park, let's hope it provides us with lots of opportunities to talk about attacking edge in front of both of the respective goals. It's smiles and pleasantries before the game. You better believe that when kickoff comes around, these two can get a little feisty from time to time. Let's say they have some form. And I am not alone on commentary tonight. Alongside me is a centurion of Northern Ireland football, Julie Nelson. Lovely to be with you for this one, Julie. It's a massive match. We have been speaking to people before the game, and you can feel it, can't you? This is an exciting night.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the pinnacle of the women's game coming to the end of the season. It's the Irish Cup final, and everybody wants to have their name on the trophy, and I think it's going to be an exciting game between two good teams.
They're going through all the last minute bits that they need to do, getting their photographs taken. There's the refereeing team, Mark Skippin, looking after this one, assisted by Rachel Greer and Maria Creaney. Adam McKnight's the fourth official. They'll hope that that's the last time we reference them until they're getting their medals. We'll see if that ends up being the case. But on nights like this, how much of it's down to experience, do you think, in terms of managing all that comes into a cup final?
Yeah, I think that's going to be crucial. You know, there's some very experienced players missing from both teams, but also very experienced players that they both have on the pitch. And, you know, Cliftonville have obviously been here over the last couple of seasons, and they're probably the ones, you know, that are just maybe going to edge it at this point in time based on their league form. But Linfield have been superb all season as well. So
Cliftonville making one change from their league title decider that they narrowly lost in against Glentoran, and suspended Marissa Callahan is out of the team. Ava O'Neill comes into the lineup. Abby McGee and Kirsty McGuinness were Linfield's heroes in 2016, but they're hoping to be Cliftonville heroes once again tonight. And Caitlin McGuinness got a hat-trick in last year's final. She will certainly have her say in this one as well. And for Linfield, a raft of changes after their final league game was a chance to give other players an opportunity, but also to rest one or two after an exhausting campaign. And they look close to full strength. Abby Sweetlove and Megan Bell are back in Tanya Oxtoby's squad for the upcoming international playoffs in the Nations League against Iceland. And Eve Riley is certainly one to watch. She has been scoring goals for ease, and she's got 5 in this year's competition en route to the final. As you would expect, these are two of the top teams in the country. That's why they've made it this far. And it's about far more than bragging rights at Windsor Park. Broken out of their huddles, they'll get into shape, and then Mark Skippin will get this contest underway in just a moment. Julie, what's your assessment on it? You know these teams better than most.
Yeah, I think it'll be a very close game, and as you've already said, you know, the games between both teams seem to have been quite feisty this season from what I can gather, and I think it's going to be exciting for the fans, and you know, it's probably only going to be one goal in it, I would imagine, based on the recent league games that they've had between them.
And we've mentioned, of course, a very famous name that's hanging the boots up after tonight for Cliftonville, but also for Linfield. Ashley Hutton, your old partner in crime on international duty, and the three of you had a nice moment before the game. I felt really like I was just cramping your style, but brilliant to see you all together here on a big night like this.
Yeah, it's disappointing for both girls to miss out on the showpiece occasion of the season, but they're both here to wish their teams well, and I'm sure they'll be kicking every ball from the stands.
Well, we are underway. And Linfield have an early throw, and it's very in vogue these days to, from kick-off, aim straight into touch and force the other team back.
Yeah, it seems to be all the trend again. It's funny how things go in cycle in football.
It's come back again as Cliftonville get themselves the throw in, so they'll say their approach has worked out. It's allowed them to squeeze up the pitch, and O'Neill is going to take the throw in. Thought she was going to pass on duties there for a moment, but she's gone to Orlea McGuinness. And O'Neill looking inside now to Caitlin McGuinness. She will look to be a threat and a nuisance in equal measure for those defenders. And they're trying to look for a way in behind as a former Cliftonville player in Doherty is able to stop that ball working through, and it's a shot that could so easily have arrowed into the top corner. And Naomi McLaughlin, well, she only needed half of an invitation, and she very nearly opened the scoring.
Yeah, and that just shows the threat that Naomi McLaughlin can pose. She had half a second there and was able to get a shot off, and it didn't look too far away. Off her weaker side as well, because she's actually left-footed, so it just shows what she can do.
Doherty thought she'd done the hard bit, cutting the pass out, and just as the ball breaks here, look at that, and that was off balance. That is how close we are to an opening goal. Last season in the final, Cliftonville put Lisburn Rangers to the sword, 5-0. How will they fare this time around against another team in blue? Linfield's first venture forwards, pass not panning out that time for Megan Bell. Her experience on this pitch might just help settle a few nerves within the ranks as well. I do think it is a thing, and you've experienced that as well, playing in different places for the international games. Coming here, there is a different feel to it, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. It's obviously a much bigger stadium than any of the league games that we have throughout the year, and there's some players that have played here before, as we've already spoken about, but there's some that probably haven't, so it's a big occasion for them, and hopefully those other experienced players will be able to help them.
Someone nice and quiet like you beside them just to get them into position.
Yeah, that's it. You have to keep them in the right place.
I say that as a compliment. Defenders should be vocal. We're inside 3 minutes here at Windsor Park in this Irish Cup final, and Linfield are combining nicely. Doherty almost finding a way through with her pass. Orlea McGuinness intervening, and the miscue from Fee Morgan. She doesn't do that too often.
No, I think both teams are still trying to settle just at the moment in the early stages of the game, and there's a lot of high pressing going on from both sides.
Doherty with the throw in. Eve Riley waiting in the middle to see if anything arrives her way. Rachel Norney happy to receive that one under no real pressure there, the keeper. Still only 21 years of age, Norney, but great experience already. Sending that kick long up the pitch. And now Cliftonville look to get on the attack. Good movement in the middle. Sisters combining. But Ryan McConville's team had the numbers back and were able to deal with that little spell of pressure. It's exactly the start of this game I anticipated.
Yep, there's not a whole lot between the two teams at the moment. Both teams are attacking, and a lot of pressing, as I've already said, and defensive aspect from both teams too. Saw
a little glimpse of Brendan Lynch it was always going to be hard for Cliftonville this season, wasn't it? After last season, before we even think about the players that have moved on, when you win a treble, I mean, where do you go from there?
Yeah, it's always a massive challenge, and we've seen even with the likes of Manchester City how difficult it was for them as well after winning the treble. And yeah, as you've mentioned as well, they've obviously lost some players from that treble winning team as well, so they've done really well to be in the position they're in this season. They've already won a trophy in the bag and could potentially have another one at the end of the game tonight.
Yes, I'm sure they would, in inverted commas, settle for a double if indeed they manage to achieve it, but they have to get past this Linfield team first, and what it would mean for them as well. 2019, the last time they got to the final, but 2016, the last time they won it, and you know, for a team with their proud tradition, it's felt like a very long time.
Yeah, and I've heard, you know, the interviews through the week, and that's what they've spoken about. You know, that it's always their goal to get here, and then once they've got here, now they're in a position where they can go and cause problems and hopefully win it.
Just to open up here, it was really good play from Kerry Lockery initially in trying to free Cora Chambers. When you talk about players with plenty of attacking acumen, Cora Chambers is another who certainly fits that bill.
Yes, between her and Eve Riley, they've scored some goals this season for Linfield, and they're both going to be a massive threat throughout this game. 13
in the league as that one is sent into the centre, but easily watched by Norney, who quickly looks to distribute. Dealt with by McMaster, striding forward with purpose, and but for a little break of the ball there, you never know, she might have found her way through in slightly uncharted territory.
Yeah, that's one of Jane's strengths. Whenever she puts her head down and starts running with the ball, you know, it's hard for the opposition to keep up with her. She's very determined on the run.
Well, decision going the way of Cliftonville here. Penny, for your thoughts?
I'm sure she's kicking every ball.
I'd wager she won't sit down too often. Doherty does well to control that. Possession stolen back for Cliftonville. They're appealing for handball, and the decision has gone against Doherty, who feels a little hard done by there.
Yeah, it's one of those. I'm not really sure where she's supposed to put her hand, but in this day and age, that's a handball.
Still pleading the case. Arm was tucked in, wasn't it? Don't know if Doherty could have done much more than she did, but the free kick has been awarded, and they will need to make sure they're organised, Linfield, here, as Kirsty McGuinness eyes up an opening potentially for her and her teammates. Plenty of movement in there, and don't think Curry got a touch on that, just over her. Out it goes for the goal kick. And with Kirsty McGuinness, if she'd have shot from there, it wouldn't have surprised you either, such as her attacking talent, but put it into that dangerous area, see if anyone can get a touch in that time. Nobody could.
Yeah, I think that's one of Cliftonville's strengths as well. They're a danger in offset pieces with the likes of Fee Morgan and Kelsey in the air, so that's definitely something for Linfield to make sure that they track runners and mark up well as well.
Naomi McLaughlin trying to force that pass through, but just cut out in the nick of time before Cliftonville could venture further into the penalty area. Kirsty McGuinness, O'Neill. Curry got a touch on that, but they're saying the ball was already out. What was your thoughts on that, Julie?
Yeah, I think it maybe just had gone out, but you'll definitely call for a corner on that one. No, should have been a corner.
Should have been a corner, yeah, and I think She'll just be relieved that she was that side of the post and it didn't squeak in. Lauren Curry, daughter of Niall Curry, Portadown manager, who last night got the better of Linfield's men's team. Tonight, I'm sure, finds himself as a Linfield supporter. Very proud occasion for him and indeed for everyone's family to see their players out here, but he'll be hoping that this is going to be a perfect weekend for him after their big win last night in the league. Doherty could do with a little bit of support there. She's done really well. Outnumbered, but able to hold off the challenges long enough to find the pass that she was looking for. Linfield able to fight and win the ball back through Kerry Lockery. Charging through, and that's a brilliant battle. Good bit of defending in the end to mop up.
Yeah, it was good play from Kerry Lockery there. I think she's been a key figure for Linfield and a key signing for them this year. I know she was in the shortlist for the PFA Player of the Year as well, so it shows, you know, the impact that she's had within the league.
Carlton that stuck to the task. Linfield coming again. Ball just wouldn't stick there for Cliftonville, much to the frustration of one or two.
There's some sisterly love going on there between Kirsty and Orlea.
Yes, family connections in either team. Cliftonville with their trio of sisters and Linfield with their duo. Knocks on throw-in duty here, but Cliftonville quicker to react. Riley just for a moment caught ball watching. McLaughlin able to kill that and move it on and continue her run forward as well. Caitlin McGuinness drifting out. McGee. Away it goes. Linfield players dropping deeper for the moment. And that'll give them the breather they were hoping for.
Yeah, I think you can see Cliftonville are looking to play through the lines a lot quicker than maybe they traditionally would. They're usually quite good at switching the ball around from around the back, but every time the ball's they're in control of the ball at the back, they're looking to break lines and get Naomi McLaughlin on the ball, and it's causing Linfield problems at the moment.
Well, I mentioned the great man. There is Niall Curry watching on. I think that's red for Portadown, if anyone's wondering about colour schemes. Very impressed by the work of our camera team to find him that quickly.
Yeah.
Carlton stepping in the way of that pass. Kirsty McGuinness, great acceleration to make it. And Caitlin McGuinness, although she's pretty quick herself, is not that quick.
No.
Sweet Love moving it to Doherty. Challenge is right in front of the dugout, but play allowed to continue. Really good footwork from Riley to control the ball and move away from the challenge, and now an invitation to try and run behind. Orlea McGuinness across to deny that avenue through for Chambers.
Yeah, I think Linfield were looking for the free, but did well to get out of that situation and well mopped up by Orlea McGuinness.
Goes down as a good advantage then from the ref. It's sometimes not easy when you're right in front of the dugouts just to ignore the calls, and just spotting here off the ball that the Linfield keeper is down and holding on to her right hamstring, and they certainly wouldn't want that.
No, I think Lauren has had her injury struggles through the season. I'm not sure what her injuries were, but they'll be hoping that they can keep her fit for the full 90 minutes.
I also don't think they've named a sub-keeper. So that could be a problem for them. Looking down the list of names.
They did have one warming up, she's not in the match squad.
So that also will be factored into thoughts. You don't want to play from the 15th minute with someone who isn't a goalkeeper in goals. Just stretching out at the moment there. And sometimes you see that in football and it's a tactical thing and everyone runs over and has a chat. That was not the case there.
No, that's become very common, but that wasn't the case in that instance.
I saw it in an underage game recently. I'm not going to turn into a curmudgeon here and go on about it, but I couldn't believe it.
It's what they see on the TV, so now everybody's doing it.
And the kick brought down by Lockery. Pass through, read and intercepted by McLaughlin. Sweet love with Caitlin McGuinness bearing down. Curry winced a little bit as she kicked that, but continues on. Could have been a free kick, but play goes on and play opens up here. They've 3 players forward, Linfield. This is a big chance for them. Riley, she wants it herself, and Morgan able to get in the way. Not cleared yet. And the shot from Jodie Lockery blazes off target.
Yeah, Linfield will be disappointed not to make the most of that situation there. I think Orlea McGuinness had dropped and was playing them all onside. Fee does well to get a block in, and they maybe do enough just to put Jodie Lockery off.
Well, you wonder, might there have been a pass on initially, but not too many forwards want to pass when they get into that sort of territory. Not coming together off the ball between the 2 players we've just been talking about, Riley and Morgan. It's been a fantastic season for Eve Riley. 17 goals and 15 league appearances. Plenty of people talking about her this season.
Yeah, I think she's just edged her teammate to top goal scorer, so I'm sure she'll enjoy that one. I think Cora had just edged it last year, so Eve's got this one.
It's good to have a bit of in-house competition as well.
Absolutely. It's a good sign that your team are scoring lots of goals.
Very true. Doherty, really good pass off her right side, put into a dangerous area, and no choice but to put it behind there for Burrows, doing well to help her team out.
Yeah, well dealt with. I think Linfield are starting to cause problems out in the wide channels for Cliftonville with their back 3. It's an area that Linfield can look to exploit.
They've got only a couple of players in the centre. They're now filtering in. Some runners hanging on the outside, waiting to see where the ball drops. They should be able to recycle this one. Doherty, only one thing in mind, get it into the box off a Cliftonville head. It was Tegan Lynch that got the touch, behind for another corner. Good spell this from Linfield.
Yes, and Megan Bell's delivery can always be a threat off set pieces for them as well, and they've got some good height in their team.
Gone short and received it back. She's underneath that as it hangs in the penalty area. McGee was nice and composed there as the blue jerseys arrived in front of her. So helpful to have a a player with that sort of composure on the pitch. Sometimes it's little moments in matches that can make all the difference, especially in cup finals. Cliftonville committed bodies forward there, couldn't find them with the first pass. McGee, well, did look like a hidden arm, but the referee saying nothing doing. And now Linfield looking to counter once more. Cliftonville getting enough players back. Not for the first time, it's Orlea McGuinness who was watching the flight of the ball and intervening.
Yeah, and I think Orlea has been a key figure for Cliftonville, especially when Kelsey was injured for the first part of the season. She stepped up into that role, and she was super during that period. And her pace is a massive attribute for the team, because she's always able to get there on the cover.
Still only 19 years of age. This was the handball that wasn't given. Hits the arm behind her body, which was extended out, but she didn't know much about it. They've obviously taken the proximity of where the ball's been kicked from and where it eventually strikes into the consideration there. But Orlea McGuinness last year coming off the bench as a sub in the final, this year starting it. Great sign of her development.
Yeah, and so many of these players are so young, as you've already said, Michael, but a lot of them have a lot of experience, and they seem like they've been around for a lot longer than maybe what they have. You know, they're still obviously all kind of teenagers and in their early 20s, so it's fantastic to see that next generation of players coming through.
Lovely little flick through there. Nearly deserved to find a teammate. Such was the cheekiness of it from Breen. Didn't work out that time. Morgan. Carlton did well to emerge with the ball. McGee couldn't bring it under her spell. Doherty, who's getting around the pitch, was helping out there, but her teammates lost the ball, and this could be a problem for Linfield. That shimmy buys Kirsty McGuinness a little bit of room, and enough to try and get the cross in and bring about this latest set piece. And just when I thought Doherty had done all that needed to be done there, just a little moment's hesitation from Sweetlove.
Yeah, I think Abby was looking to take a little bit too much time on the ball, and good pressing from Caitlin McGuinness, and now they've got a corner from that.
Kirsty McGuinness. Well dealt with. Back with McGuinness once more. Is there an opening here for the Reds? Well, Carlton couldn't quite wrap her boot around it. And out it goes for the goal kick. Slightly beyond the halfway point in the first half. Julie, what have you made of it so far?
I think it's been a pretty even game, as we predicted at the start. Both teams have had their chances, and they're both kind of playing quite direct at the moment. More long balls and playing through the lines quicker, and then rotating the ball around their defence and right through the midfield. So it'll be interesting to see if they change tact if the game moves on.
Linfield with Breen. And again, Orlea McGuinness sticking with her. That's turning into an interesting duel down this near touchline.
Yeah, both players, Rihanna Breen, also a lot of pace that she brings to her game, and she's a good 1v1 player, and Orlea's done well so far to deal with that.
McConville side take the throw. Knox to Breen. Ball just sliding away from Chambers there. Little nudge perhaps did enough, and Doherty is going to get that decision.
I think that's been a good tussle between those two players. Have been involved in quite a few tussles so far in the game, and Hannah Docherty eventually got a free kick out of that one.
I think that'll be lively. Ivy McGee's not one to shirk a challenge either.
No, definitely not, and that brings that little bit of added spice. Abby's a former Linfield player, and Hannah was obviously at Cliftonville last year, so that just adds to it.
Will be the player who won the free kick to deliver it, and it's watched all the way by Norney. Kick just a little overcooked into the gloves of the goalie. Master had the strength to hold off the challenge, but that did enough just to put her off. Possession ceded a little cheaply. Now Breen, there's space in front of her, and she likes that space. Looking for Chambers, and she'll get it, but not on the same page as Riley, who just checked her run as the pass was played.
Yeah, I think you see from Rihanna Breen there how direct and she is on the ball, and how good she is at running between the lines, and her pass to Cora Chambers just didn't have quite enough pace, but Cora was able to nip in and make something out of it.
Cliftonville able to nudge their way up the side of the Windsor Park pitch. And O'Neill looking for a little bit of movement in front of her. Nice nutmeg. The covering challenge was there to spare a few blushes, but good bit of skill all the same from her.
It's always nice for the highlight reel.
Riley able to spin away and looking to try and put that pass in behind, and Orlea McGuinness in the right position. And again,
seems to be like a magnet for the ball at the moment, Orlea.
Never a coincidence, is it?
Nope.
And anticipation, so important. That is a good pass. That was intended for Kirsty McGuinness. That was pretty strong from McMaster, just being felt now by Caitlin McGuinness, who picks herself back up after what will likely be a little bruise after that coming together.
Yeah, Jane McMasters definitely doesn't shirk out of any challenges. Again, another strength of her game. She's determined and gives her all every time she's on the pitch.
Don't think Caitlin McGuinness will thank her for that landing, but she did get a touch on the ball first, the defender. As Curry looks long and Morgan won the first header, and Cliftonville able to get the next couple of touches too. Still waiting through for the breakthrough in this game, as that pass almost found its intended recipients. McMaster able to steal in.
Yeah, there's been lots of good play between both 18-yard boxes, but I don't think either goalkeeper's really had a save to make as yet.
Will that change now? Caitlin McGuinness! Oh, it has changed now! She finds the top corner, and the Reds find their way in front in this year's final. Caitlin McGuinness, who scored a hat-trick last year, opens the scoring. Lovely touch from McGee. McGuinness quickly gets it out of her feet, and then how about that for a finish?
Yeah, an excellent pass from Abby McGee here, and it's her first touch, sets her up, and snapshot, excellent finish into the top corner. I think she must have been listening to me up here in the commentary box. we were looking for some excitement. And that's just the threat that Caitlin McGuinness gives you. She can score you a goal out of nowhere.
Well, how will that change the thinking of both teams? Beaming smile from Caitlin McGuinness. It never gets old scoring goals, evidently, especially in matches of this magnitude. When you think back through some of the chances we've seen in this half, very early on, Naomi McLaughlin from outside the box went close, in Linfield have threatened as well. Fee Morgan able to get herself in the way of Eve Riley's attempt. But first blood goes the way of the North Belfast club. And if you thought that was going to settle Cliftonville down at all, well, no. Still getting plenty of instructions and encouragement from their head coach, Brendan Lynch.
Yeah, I think they'll be looking to go and score another one before half-time if they can.
Still a long way to go in this game as well. Nothing won yet, so no need for panic stations, but equally no entitlement for complacency. Not that I would expect it from Cliftonville. Norney finds O'Neill in that little touch through, gives her space to run into as well. That pass wasn't the best, but Vicky Carlton able to stab the ball away. Linfield thought they were going to get a free kick there. Nothing forthcoming for Megan Bell. Kirsty McGuinness looking to the centre, played it a little long. McGee able to keep the move alive, and Bell back helping the defensive effort. Now Linfield through Breen, trying to get up the pitch. Burrows just ran out of space.
I think that's something Kelsey Burrows has done really well so far in the first half. Every time Corey Chambers is hanging out wide left, and anytime the ball goes into her feet, Kelsey's getting tight, and generally she's won most of those challenges so far.
Big player. Goes without saying really now when you look at her CV and the career that she's had, Kelsey Burrows, but such an influential player.
Yeah, and I think she's become even more influential when she took over the captain's armband halfway through last season, and I think it's maybe helped her game as well to have that added responsibility.
Breen, oh, brilliant footwork, and Eve Riley was just offside. The assistant official in line with that, able to spot it. Brilliant bit of trickery that went before it from Breen here. Going to go down the right note. I'll just chop inside here, and Riley was just ahead of the pass as it was originally played. Ahead of the last player.
Yeah, it was a close call, that one.
He'll know that too. Will not want his team to give up any easy chances. Bounce just not falling there for Linfield. Kirsty McGuinness waiting, trying to hang around almost for that pass to come through, but Linfield stopped that happening on that occasion. Strucking it around really nicely there, Cliftonville. Just ran out of steam in the end, and there's Carlton again. McMaster taking no chances.
Yeah, there's been lots of transitions, especially in the middle area of the pitch from both teams. They're making some good combination plays, and then maybe just one pass too many and giving the ball away to the opposition. There's been lots of turnovers in there, so both teams will be looking to exert a little bit more control in the middle of the pitch.
Was there a bit of a coming together there a moment ago? Because I noticed McMaster was holding what looked like sort of her forehead stroke eyebrow, and Megan Bell was wincing a bit too. McGuinness to Lynch. McGee, and now Caitlin McGuinness able to tee it up for Kirsty McGuinness, who hooked that somewhat, just wrapped her foot around it, dragged it wide.
Yeah, again, Kirsty can score from around those areas anywhere on the pitch, so she'll probably be disappointed that she's pulled that one wide.
I believe it's now 69 goals she scored in her Cliftonville career alone. Bring. Nothing you can do with that. Miss Chambers just took a big old bounce on the turf.
Yeah, it's one of those, and you know, most of the girls are used to playing on the artificial pitches as well, so it's just a slightly different bounce off the grass, and especially this pitch would be quite firm compared to some of the grass pitches you've maybe played on in the past, so it's difficult to judge.
That's why you're here, for the detail. That's a good point, it does play differently.
Yeah, we only have one team in the league now that play on grass, and everybody else plays in 3G, so it's something different for you to get used to.
Do you have a preference?
Not really. I'm probably just used to playing.
You're so used to it.
We're used to playing in 3G, so I mean, if you can have a grass pitch that's like this every week, that would be excellent. But unfortunately, that's not the case. It'd be easier in the joints too.
Cliftonville with the corner, looking for a buffer to extend the lead that they have. They're going to have another chance to push for that goal. Another corner earned. Can they do more with this one? Kirsty McGuinness to float the ball in, and the header was not very far away at all. Leah McGuinness, we said she's been everywhere defensively. Well, she found herself in the penalty area.
I think it was maybe Tegan Lynch.
Good spot, yeah, Tegan Lynch it was.
She's popped up with lots of goals for Cliftonville this year. I think she's maybe top goal scorer, or Caitlin's goal tonight maybe it's just tied her, I'm not sure, but I know she's definitely up at the top of the goal scoring charts for Cliftonville.
Tegan Lynch, who was the Football Writers Player of the Month for September. The Strabane player making her way into the box again. Fee Morgan glances the header on, and Cliftonville do have their second goal. Well, it was such an inviting delivery, and the defender arrives onto that and guides it in. What a position Cliftonville find themselves in now.
Yeah, it's what we spoke about earlier in the game, the delivery from Kirsty McGuinness and the threat that it's caused by the likes of Fee Morgan, and Tegan was just missed just before, and Fee got up well between or in front of the two defenders there, and excellent header into the side net.
You could see just how much she wanted to connect with that ball. She made sure to get there. Other players placed closer but no one beating her to it.
Yeah, Fee like Taken's popped up with quite a few goals this season, and she always does. She's difficult to deal with in the opposition boxes, and proved so on that occasion.
And if it wasn't for her, they wouldn't be in the final. They had that very close call against Lisburn Rangers. She scored twice in that match in the very dramatic 3-2 win. Trailing 2-1, Caitlin McInnes got the leveller on 87, and Fee Morgan got her second of the night with a back post header from Marissa Callahan's corner at the death to get the job done for them. So what sort of response will there be now from Linfield? It's a different feeling once that second goal goes in, isn't it?
Yeah, one goal's more manageable, but when the second goes in, you think you've got more of a mountain to climb. But we've seen it done before, so I'm sure Ryan will have his team talk ready for half-time, and Linfield will come out all guns blazing in the second half.
Fee Morgan, who scored against Linfield in the League Cup earlier this season. Way back in April. And what was a 3-2 win, game in which Corey Chambers scored 2. Well, Linfield would love to see her do something similar here tonight. They need a little spark in the final third. And what they mustn't do is leave too many gaps for Cliftonville to exploit. Otherwise, it could be out of sight. Well, I think the reaction from Caitlin McInnes tells you all you need to know. She was absolutely adamant that this should have been a corner.
Like a hit off Caitlin there to make.
Both players making their case. Only one ref. Curry. Good initial control from Lynch, just not quite enough on the pass. Corey Chambers arriving. Burrows didn't have as much time as she was hoping. Lovely flick inside from O'Neill. That pass didn't quite have enough to roll into her path as she was hoping. McLaughlin asking for the ball back, has it back, and at full stretch couldn't get the power of the direction she wanted.
Yeah, really good tracking there from Carrie Lockery. Good combination play from Cliftonville out on their left side here, and Naomi just couldn't get her shot off with that pressure that was being provided there.
Even from up here, I could hear her calling for that ball.
Yeah.
She wanted it, played through to her. Great determination to arrive into the penalty area.
I think she's been a great addition to Cliftonville, especially now that she's been fit for the second half of the season. She struggled with injury at the start of the season, and since she's come back, they've definitely upped their game.
Pretty able to retrieve the ball for the Blues. Brina just moved inside when that pass was hit. Cliftonville managing the ball well. I think Naomi McLaughlin might want a new pair of boots at half-time. She slipped a couple of times on the pitch tonight. Good challenge there from McMaster.
Yeah, again, most of the girls probably don't have metal studs because they're used to playing in the 3G, so sometimes you can find you slip quite often on the grass. It's that.
Fee Morgan just jogging into the box now. Already one goal to her name, and oh, that was Lynch coming on to the end of that one. 3 goals against Linfield this season, and is trying her level best to get another.
An excellent delivery from Kirsty right on the 6-yard line there, and Tegan will be disappointed she hasn't got a header on target from that.
2 goals in the 2-0 win at the start of September, and a further goal in the 2-1 win at the end of that month. Kirsty McGuinness not quite getting the flight of the ball right there, as we learn that there will be 3 additional minutes, signalled by Adam McKnight. Sure, Cliftonville will be really pleased with how this half has gone. What do you think Ryan McConville will be saying to his players, assuming things are as they stand?
Yeah, I think they've had chances within the game, and they have been a threat going forward, so I don't think they'll be too downbeat about how they've played in the first half. Cliftonville scored 2 very good goals, and obviously one came off a set piece as well, so he'll be encouraged by the performance, but he'll be looking for his team to go and cause problems within the 18-yard box and get shots off a goal.
Cliftonville do have a brilliant defence. If you look at their league campaign, only conceded 8 goals in the Premiership. 3 of those were from Glentoran, 2 of them from Linfield. So it's a tough nut to crack.
Yeah, they don't concede many goals, Cliftonville, and usually that's the team that finishes top of the league, but Glentoran's goal scoring form just pipped them to the trophy this year, but they'll be looking to keep a clean sheet here in the cup final.
Linfield were the only team to draw with Cliftonville this season. They'll be hoping to get themselves back into contention in this final, but at the moment they trail by 2 goals. And we have a minute and a little bit extra remaining of this first half. Here's Ryan McConville. I would imagine at this moment already running through what he might wish to say. Led the club to 8 trophies in 3 seasons in his first spell. Hoping his players have a little bit more left in them to fight back here against the Reds.
I think that'll be the key thing from the coaching staff at Linfield. They'll be wanting to instill the belief that it is still possible for them to get back into the game. It's the mindset that they need to come out into the second half with. They can't think the game's dead and buried already.
Master. Kirsty McGuinness so nearly got there. And that is going to be the end of the half. The half-time whistle sounds at Windsor Park. And it was that woman's header that has made it 2-0. Brilliantly arriving onto the end of Kirsty McGuinness's free kick to loop the header in after a brilliant strike from Caitlin McGuinness on the 29th minute. Opened the scoring in this year's Irish Cup final. And we can recap on those goals now. And it starts with some good passes. Looking up the line. Controlled here by McGee. One touch to move away from her marker, another to find McGuinness, and how about that for a finish?
Yeah, excellent first touch. Sets her up and fires it into the top left corner of the goal.
Nice ball down the line initially. McGee creates that little bit of space, and McGuinness operating with even less room, but still able to find a shot of that calibre. And then here, deep delivery in, a couple of players marking her, but Morgan is so lethal in the air. Look at how she arrives onto that. Curry could do nothing but watch as it dropped under the crossbar and into the goal.
Yeah, great delivery there and great leap from feet. Nobody's stopping that one.
And that is why Cliftonville are in the box seats at the National Stadium at Windsor Park. At half-time in this year's Irish Cup final, it is Cliftonville 2, Linfield 0. Welcome back. We are close to resuming at Windsor Park. It's Cliftonville who hold a 2-0 lead over Linfield, thanks to a stunning strike from Caitlin McInnes and a looping header from Fee Morgan. The temperature is just dropping a little bit as one or two try and warm back up again. Linfield players were out a little bit earlier. They know the size of the job at hand. A big second half awaits us, Julie Nelson.
Yeah, it looks like Linfield have switched roles here. Cora Chambers has gone more into the middle. Jodie Lockery's come out on the left, so it'll be interesting to see if they're going with the two up top or Cora just playing off Eve in the number 10 role.
Doherty, at least for the time being, as well in midfield, so a bit of a change around as Mark Muskillen rejoins us again.
Maybe they're going to 3 at the back, or either that or Hannah's in there for the kick-off.
We'll keep an eye on that. Doesn't appear to be any substitutions for either team, so we're back as the team started, ready for this second half. Thumbs up from the goalies. And the ball rolling again as Doherty aims the pass for Jodie Lockery. Master, fleet-footed. Riley looking for Lockery. That'll be a bit of a sore one across the top of the boot. Nothing wrong with the challenge, but it's scant consolation for the top of your foot. Anyone that's ever been in that position.
Yeah, those ones are always sore ones. Yeah, it looks like Hannah Doherty's pushed into midfield, so Linfield seem to be matching Cliftonville up now in terms of formations.
So a tactical tweak for Linfield, something for Cliftonville to get to grips with as well. Will that change the direction of travel? Cliftonville, the holders of the Irish Cup, has their first half exploits been enough? McGee now looking into the centre, and the ball taken away by Bell, and the formations flashing up on your screen as we recap the teams. That was the original way in which they lined up, as a yellow card is brandished there. Naomi McLaughlin, first player to go into the referee's book in this year's showpiece.
Yeah, I'm not sure Naomi thought she did a whole lot wrong, but I'm not sure if it's for an accumulation of fouls through the first half.
Conversation continues between the player that made the challenge and the player who was challenged, Megan Bell. Sweetlove stepping out of defence, and Chambers, as you rightly point out, in that more central role now. Probably felt at times she was isolated in the first half. They want to try and get her more involved.
Yeah, I think Kelsey Burrows dealt well with her in the first half, so she'll be looking to make more of an impact through the middle. That's going to cause problems maybe for Linfield now with Abby McGee, because she's hanging out here on wide right. So it's a lot of work for Jane McMaster to get across to cover that.
Guinness hobbling after the challenge. Linfield getting the ball to Lockery. She finds her route closed off by Burrows. Free kick to the Blues.
Guess they'll be in Megan Bell territory, possibly.
She's walking over to it, standing alongside Hannah Doherty. Caitlin McGuinness not quite blending in there, is she, Julie? She's just standing in front saying, "You'll not be taking this quickly, folks." opportunity for Linfield to work something, and it's a smart free kick, and it's a really good challenge as well. Some of the Linfield fans on the opposite side exercised by that, but nothing wrong whatsoever with Carlton's tackle, and there she is again.
Yeah, I think Vicky's been consistent throughout the whole season for Cliftonville in that midfield area. As you can see, she gives her all every time she's on the pitch and tracks runners and makes things difficult for the opposition, as well as pops up with the odd goal now and again as well.
Curry doing really well there, because any misstep and she would have been in bother with Caitlin McGuinness breathing down her throat. Now Linfield's looking to spring a counter-attack, and they do have numbers forwards here. Cora Chambers just disappeared in front of her, didn't it? That opportunity going as quickly as it arrived.
Yeah, again, Cliftonville do really well to deal with that, but good play from Linfield.
Something that I'm sure Linfield will have spoken about at half-time. How do they capitalise on those breaks when they find that space? That ball is what has been signalled by the referee, Kirsty McGuinness. Having a game of charades. We can all have a little guess at what she was saying there, but Kirsty McGuinness not very pleased, I think, is the summary.
Yeah, I think she's looking for a push in the back here and ends up catching the ball.
Play to my whistle. The old adage. Refs everywhere shouting at their TV screens. Judy Lockery. She's not going to be woman-handled, so I think she was kicked a fair few times there as well. Play able to go on. That's not going to deter her either. Good work that by Zoe Knox, even though she couldn't keep it in.
Yeah, well anticipated by Zoe Knox. Step in there.
This was the little battle going on. Bit of pulling, little kick in the top of the thigh, knee comes across, push comes back. Not too much in it, but the sort of spirit that you want to see from two sets of players who are determined to win.
And I think the referee's let those go so far in the game, so he's not going to start blowing them now.
Marcus Gibbons used to it.
Yeah, he would have been in the middle of some of those himself, I'm sure.
Well, now, you said that, not me, Julie. You might have been reading my mind, but you said it. Throw in to Linfield. Riley. Closed down as McGee thought about trying to play that little pass inside. O'Neill was making a run, but went for the safe option, and Norney miscuing her kick. Presents possession back to their Belfast rivals. Riley. The sort of area you want the ball to go, but nobody making that run across the front post.
Yeah, but Linfield had 3 players in the box, but just nobody making the run to get on the end of that one.
They should take encouragement from how they've started this half, and it is also a reminder for Cliftonville. They will need to continue to defend as well as they did in the first 45. They don't want to offer Linfield a way back into this game, having worked so hard to establish a 2-goal cushion. Forward it goes. Kirsty McGuinness has held the line well as well. She is onside, and she just couldn't find a teammate with the cross at the end of the move.
Yeah, we nearly had assists from 2 sisters. So if she could have passed that into Caitlin there on the ground, I think we could have end up with a goal potentially. A great ball from Orlea forward, and Kirsty looks like she's maybe had a shot there. I think she probably should have squared it.
Brendan Lynch continues the encouragement. A record across all competitions this season. Played 30, won 22. Before tonight had scored 80. So they've got 82. Free kick going against Cliftonville there. Caitlin McGuinness offering her feedback. Master. Bell, brilliant from her.
Excellent from Megan.
That is such a good pass from Megan Bell after the turn. Equally, really well defended by O'Neill, who has gone about her business in an accomplished fashion tonight.
Yeah, Ava's been solid down that left side for Cliftonville.
See the turn and the pass again from the Northern Ireland international. Of course, spells in the professional game with Durham, Rangers, Nottingham Forest for Megan Bell. He signed for Linfield back in July. Hoping to put the injury woes in the last few years to bed for such a talented player.
Yeah, Megan's had a bit of a torrid time with injuries over the last 3 or 4 years, so it's brilliant to see her back playing week in, week out at the minute for Linfield, and she's just shown there what she's capable of doing whenever she's on the pitch. So hopefully she's left her injury woes behind her and can push on from here, especially with the international squad then as well as Linfield.
Nibble there, which is why the free kick was awarded. Not that you should ever do it, but should you find yourself in that moment, maybe don't do it right in front of the assistant ref. Morgan puts her foot through that one. Knox in the end finds herself applying the touch, sending it out. Cliftonville with the throw, which they get on with quickly. Linfield's winning possession back. Such an important period of the match, this. Now the time managers start thinking about the next 5-10 minutes or so. More changes required. What do we need from here?
Yeah, I think Linfield have come out of the changing rooms round to go, and pushing the extra body forward with Hannah has given them a bit more drive going forward, but they'll be looking to get some shots off at goal.
The sides who finished second and third in the league. Linfield, whether that was the right opportunity or not there. The shot not causing any problems for Norney.
Some good initial footwork here from Cora Chambers, but just not enough on the shot that directed goal boot.
Like a little bit of conviction at the end. Brendan Lynch, he's trying to get the players, don't stop, keep going. Wants a bit more intensity, thinks that's maybe disappeared from their game a little bit. And you can see the glance of the watch. He's already thinking, okay, what do we need now? Is fresh legs the answer? So much was put into that game against Glentoran as well, and a goal to settle it in the end, going into the final day of the league campaign. It's agonising if you're the team that comes out in the wrong end. Of course, congratulations to Glentoran for triumphing, but Well, it made for a captivating viewing for everyone, didn't it? Right down to the wire as it was.
Yeah, it's exciting for the league whenever it comes down to the last game like that. I'm sure it's definitely not a nice feeling to be on the Cliftonville end of it. And you know, fair play to Glentoran for going in and getting the victory. They could have got the victory, or the trophy, sorry, even with a draw. But you know, they went and Edding Caldwell popped up with a goal, and they went and won the league by quite a few points in the end.
Morgan in there, battling, winning the header. McMaster more up than away, but Linfield's able to deal with it now. Lockery poked away. It is going to be Cliftonville through it. Played off Kerry Lockery there. Just found herself somewhat smothered on the touchline. McGuinness, Lynch wouldn't fall for her really in time to get the shot she was hoping for. Linfield trying to get away quickly. Ball wouldn't drop for Breen, but it might well break here for Caitlin McGuinness. There was nothing in that, says the referee. He waves it away. The ball crept past the defender, and the question I would have is, if there was no contact, why would she go down there? Because she was through on goal.
Yeah, I'd definitely like to see that one again. It looked like there was some contact there from Abby Sweetlove. The ball went through her legs, and as she turned, it looked like there was potentially contact with Caitlin McGuinness.
Well, she is in some discomfort, and I can't imagine from here.
Yeah, it looks like she's caught her left foot.
Yeah, there's just no way Caitlin McGuinness is going to pass up that chance to score, and that has gone undetected by the referee, who's trying his best to explain from his perspective what he saw, but that's not going to appease anyone of a Cliftonville persuasion. And with the advantage of a replay, we can see that that was a penalty that wasn't awarded. That could have wrapped this one up. Turning into a body language expert to it. Do we think she's okay? Setting up at least. Smile on the face, I think that's...
I'd imagine she'll be okay. Okay to carry on, Caitlin.
Opportunity for one or two to have refreshments as those fans watch on, hoping that their team continue to do the business. The others in blue with a different thought in mind at this moment in time. Break and play, allowing managers to chat to people, and well, I think he might have gone back on iPlayer and watched that decision.
He's using his own VAR via the iPlayer.
That's the joys of modern technology, isn't it? You don't need to wait till you get home anymore, and he's now saying, I've just seen it, this is what should have happened, and well, the fourth official saying, what are you telling me for?
Yeah, I don't think the fourth official can do a whole lot about it, but he just needs to vent the frustrations to somebody.
Play back underway. Caitlin McGuinness coming back on now. Linfield, is that moment of good fortune going to help aid them here? Riley not able to find a teammate in blue there. She had two options. Ooh, that's a sore coming together. Jodie Lockery and Tegan Lynch.
Yeah, that definitely looked like a sore one there. Both players going with full conviction to win the ball.
It's there to be won. No guilty party, but 2 sore heads. Drinks on a night like this, absolutely the right way to go.
Definitely need it tonight.
Some parents there thinking, right, less of the stoppages please. We've got bedtime to consider as well.
And I think just before that clash, James McMaster did really well down the left, and Eve Riley maybe just wasn't the right choice of ball again in the final third, and I think that's something Linfield would be looking to do better. They maybe just haven't picked the right option whenever they've got into those areas so far tonight.
Told you she wouldn't take a seat.
Yeah, don't think she sat down once.
Well, treatment is continuing, and Jodie Lockery has obviously come off worse for wear from that. Cliftonville sending some players to warm up at the moment, but Linfield might be forced into a change in midfield.
There's just a stretcher coming on here, so I don't think Jodie Lockery is going to be able to continue.
Well, that is very disappointing to see. What I would say is there has been a little bit of movement with her. You know, she's not been lying completely prone. They're just trying to make sure that she's best taken care of, and it's an early and an abrupt end to her cup final. Tegan Lynch is okay. She's just top of your picture there, walking past a couple of players and everyone in conversation at the moment. Probably starting to begin to cool down with the 2 stoppages so close together, but of course health is always the priority above anything else, even a cup final.
Yeah, it looks like Linfield are going to bring on young Charlotte Havern.
Getting her instructions. How much of that as a player, and I'm not being unkind to coaches, but maybe I am. How much of that as a player do you pay attention to? How much you just go, yep, and then run on?
Yeah, I don't really think a whole lot of that information goes in, but it makes the coaches feel better that they've given you the information. I think as a player, you just say, yeah, just let me on the pitch.
Okay, that's what I thought. You've over 100 caps, I don't, so I thought I'd check. Some players making their way over now from Cliftonville to have a chat with their coach just to see what their thinking is. But this break in play might give us an opportunity to reflect on some of the goals in this game in a moment, because I think we might have another moment or two of it. But 2 very good goals in the first half, which have put Cliftonville in this position. Let's remind ourselves of them now. This was how the first goal of the game came about. Ball down the line, controlled, played inside, and then that shot rifled in by Caitlin McGuinness. So being readied by both teams. Before that happens, this was the second goal. Commanding header 10 minutes after the first, to delight those fans. Thunderous header from Fee Morgan.
His Tegan legs just must have had to go off.
I just realised that when she turned around.
Yeah, just looks like...
because there was no booking and because she's had medical treatment, she's had to head off, so not a substitution for them. And as you can see, there's a brace being applied there, so our thoughts, more than anything, are with Jodie Lockery and also with her sister Kerry, who is going to play through the rest of this final as well on the pitch. That's, you know, difficult for her to do, but good to see that the right and proper attention's being paid to that injury, and we can only hope it's not as bad as it initially looks.
Yeah, it's one of those with head injuries and neck injuries. You always have to be extra cautious, but hopefully it's not as bad as what it seems.
I'm sure there'll be a brilliant reception for her from everybody here. Not the sights we wish to see.
No, it's not something you want to see for any player, having to go off on a stretcher like that, but hopefully, as we've said, that it's not as bad as it first seems.
Many Cliftonville fans were watching their game earlier today and now watching this one. They lost a midfielder this afternoon, Adebayo Fapetu. Also wish him well, his recovery. He was stretchered off in the first half at Solitude in their league defeat in the men's premiership against Larne. So although the clock continues to tick and says we've 20 minutes to go, we'll have considerably more than that.
Yeah, I think there'll be quite a few additional minutes added on for this one.
Everyone's actually warming up by passing a ball that they've been able to move over there. Maybe it was actually passed over by one of the players, but there you go, Morgan, your one touch. Get yourself ready to get on. Not a sight to see too often, but we have a bit more time than usual.
Yeah, and I think the players on the pitch are starting to get a little restless as well. There's a few footballs on the pitch now. They're popping them about too.
It's not how Charlotte Haven would wish to come on in a final. I understand that. It's only 15 years of age.
Yeah, Charlotte's an exciting young prospect. She was part of our under-16 squad this year, and also playing up then in the under-17s and now she's moved fully up into the under-17 squad. She's actually missing a international camp this weekend. They're in camp. I think a lot of the girls are here. The girls came as a squad tonight to the game, so I'm sure she's not happy to be missing out on the camp, but equally happy to be getting on in an Irish Cup final, and there's not too many 15-year-olds can say that.
Concern on the face of Linfield fans as they wait to see their player come across, and well, you can't rush these things clearly. Linfield players making a little bit of room, I think, for the medical team. And Jodie Lockery will now make their way off the pitch, and players applauding on the pitch and fans standing to do the same.
Yeah, it's good to see her getting a good reception. It's not something you want to see, as we've already said, and we wish Jodie all the best.
been a long period of wait in this game. Just hope that doesn't lead to any further injuries when you cool back down again. Substitution confirmed as Charlotte Havern comes on, and Linfield through Breen get a quick shot away, trying to catch Norney off guard.
Yeah, Norney's been quite comfortable with all the shots she's had to deal with so far tonight. That was good hands from her once again.
Kirsty McGuinness trying to get McGee in. McMaster under pressure, had to clear it for the throw-in. McGee takes it and receives it back again, or at least that was the idea. Kirsty McGuinness not getting enough on that. Sent long by McMaster. Chambers, Linfield looking to the right, and that is where they've gone. Riley trying to hang on the last player, look for a way through, and Alea McGuinness didn't want to risk anything, trying to pass it beyond her, so into touch it goes for a throw-in.
Yeah, and I think there Linfield would probably want Brianna Breen to take Ava O'Neill on in a 1v1 scenario. You're not going to play the ball beyond Orlea McGuinness, as we've already spoken about this evening, so if Brianna Breen goes in her 1v1 there, it creates a bit more space.
Riley fighting her way through, winning her team a corner.
Yep, good battle in there. And Linfield will be looking to capitalise on this one.
The 21-year-old attacker from Bangor, who, along with her dad's a season ticket holder at Windsor Park.
Yeah, she had good foundations at Lisburn Rangers, Eve Riley, and for the last couple of seasons now she's been at Linfield, and I know from speaking to the girls how much it means to her to be playing for Linfield, with her and her dad being lifelong Linfield fans.
She's amongst those in the penalty area as the corner will not find any of them. Uncharacteristic delivery from Hannah Docherty, just dragging that into the side netting.
Nothing more frustrating as a defender when you've ran the whole way up from the back, but it's, as you say, very uncharacteristic of Hannah Docherty. Her delivery is usually so dangerous.
Speaking from experience?
Absolutely. You know, us defenders, our centre backs don't want to run any more than we need to.
Lynch, good to see that she's okay and shaking off any ill effects of the coming together between herself and Jodie Lockery. Just unfortunate for Jodie that she couldn't do the same. Ricocheting on. Sweet Love swivelling and sending it up to Cora Chambers, who controlled that really well. There's a short tug on Fee Morgan. That was identified. Free kick given to Cliftonville. I do think Linfield probably wanted to release that ball, but Riley was just a little too far ahead again.
Yeah, she was going to be offside if the ball had been played through to her.
Cliftonville do a good job of stepping out, and at times they nearly make your positioning look worse because theirs is so good. Reds still value for their lead. Despite a spirited performance from Linfield, as it stands, they've not been able to pose too many problems for Norney in the Cliftonville goal.
Yeah, and the second half's been quite stop-start as well, so it's hard to get into a rhythm in the games like that.
Doherty's been given the job of denying Morgan. Ball doesn't go that direction anyway. Belted high and long by Breen. Cliftonville's players almost getting in each other's road there, but they've been able to step through. Carlton. She thought she was caught. The referee doesn't agree. And the switch of play sends Riley a little wider than she was hoping to go. She's had the ball robbed off her too as well. But Linfield's come again. Cora Chambers is in there. Burrows able to knock it out of the box. Doherty. Chambers got the shot away. And just for a moment had Lorne nervous.
Yeah, again, really good defender from Eva O'Neill against Steve Riley, and then she gave the ball away, and Linfield were able to recycle that, and unfortunate just to not get the shot on target from Cora Chambers. She's done well to get a shot off, just couldn't get it on target.
Another stoppage now because Eve Riley has stayed down.
Physios are getting a workout tonight.
They certainly are.
Looks like Linfield are getting a couple more subs ready as well.
An opportunity to get them warmed up at the very least, but yes, you're right. Thinking about further changes.
And Eva Miles.
Could it well be the triple sub as it appears to be there? We will see in a moment or two. For anyone joining us late, seeing 10 minutes left in this game, it will be more than that.
Yeah, Fitzsimmons and can't see who the other one is.
Just appears to be the ankle of Riley, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like the three of them. They're gonna go for it now.
We're talking to his players whether this was the moment where she just caught her ankle, perhaps. Sometimes it's those moments where it doesn't look like there's too much in it, but you can still just get that little bit of a tweak. So Linfield with the trio of players ready, the other being Jennifer McDade. But not making the substitution just yet. Temperature beginning to cool in part thanks to the breeze that's now swirling around the stadium. And now that trio of changes can happen. So Zoe Knox, Brianna Breen are two of the players to head off. Two boards. Just need one more set of numbers, please. I think it's going to be Riley, isn't it? Yes. Yeah. Takes ages to get to 99 was essentially the problem. So there you go. The triple sub made by Linfield. Fitzsimmons, Miles and McDade enter the fray.
Yeah, and again, Eva Miles has done really well for Linfield this year, and she was out injured for a period, and I know from my own experience, I think she scored a hat-trick against Crusaders earlier on in the season, so she's going to be a threat and behind Cliftonville as well.
In hindsight, if you have to push that button one time for each number, wouldn't you get 99 ready first?
Yeah.
And then there's not as much of a wait.
Definitely
anyway,
would.
There we are. Just when I put in the application to be a fourth official. The pass attempted there by Chambers hasn't quite worked out. That tongue firmly in cheek. Nobody in the IFA need worry about that email arriving on their desk. Throw in from the side, trailing by 2-0 in the cup final. Oh, almost arriving at Doherty. She couldn't believe her luck there, but she wasn't anticipating it.
No, the ball just won't sit for Linfield at the moment.
Well, that was a spirited free kick's gone against the rather frustrated Kerry Lockery, and in fairness to her, understandable, given some of tonight's other events as well. So a free kick to Cliftonville, launched by Morgan. Off the shoulder appeared there of Caitlin McGuinness, but Curry quickly off her line to get the ball for her team. Bell couldn't control it and trap it first time. It did. Held off of it. Came off her last. Corner for the Reds.
And again, good play from Orlea McGuinness there, stepping in, winning the ball off Megan Bell and forcing the corner.
Kirsty McGuinness continues her set-piece duty. Corner swinging out. Linfield going to get a body in the way of the first attempt. McLaughlin. Carlton was an interested observer there as to where that ball might bounce, but Linfield able to rid the danger again. Sweet Love heading it out, and a bit of a tussle there. Just a throw in and nothing more. Fitzsimmons just getting around her opponent, she will tell us. McGee. McLaughlin. Pass was intended for Carlton. Couldn't quite reach her. Cliftonville feeling close to the finish line. Don't need to stop Linfield there, and the offside flag had gone up anyway, but they were taking no chances.
No, and Eva Mize just posing that threat in behind the Cliftonville defence now. She's up top alongside Cora Chambers, and they're looking to get the ball to her.
Who won the competition in 2014 and 2016, with Cliftonville's first success sandwiched between that. In the years after, St. Swifts in 2017, and then 5 years in a row from Glentoran. There was one season where it wasn't contested. Cliftonville, the winners most recently last year. O'Neill, after all her hard work, heads off, and Carla Devine, who has been a super sub, hasn't she, most famously this season in Europe?
Yep. Carla always comes on full of energy every time, and whether she starts the game or she comes off the bench, and she always causes problems. She's one of those players, seems to always pop up and score goals, especially in and around the 6-yard box. One of those players that has that knack.
The game against Mitrovica came on, forced extra time, ended up with a hat-trick, and Cliftonville's first win in Champions League qualifying for the women's team. Brilliant performance from her, and rejoined the club last year after a couple of seasons with Linfield. Also got a late goal in the League Cup final win in June. It's defensive duty at the moment for Cliftonville. Wasn't the best of corners, but the missed kick could have gone anywhere. Leah McGuinness relieved that is just behind for another corner kick. Better ball in the second time. Chance to get a shot away, Bell! And it was cleared in front of Norney. Was it Carlton that got her body in the way? I'm not so sure the keeper would have seen that, let alone saved it.
No, I'm not sure if it hit the Cliftonville player or the Linfield player, but it was a good strike from Megan Bell and a much better delivery from Charlotte Havern, which is what you'd be expecting from her.
This is that chance.
Yeah, pardon.
Just sums up her game, getting herself in the right place. She reads things well, does a lot of the dirty side of the game at times as it's been described, but really good player, really effective player for Cliftonville, and stop Linfield getting themselves a lifeline laid on here.
Yeah, and another player that's a former Linfield player that's now at Cliftonville. There seems to be lots of that between these two teams.
Attendance announced a moment ago, which I think they said was 1,230 in attendance at Windsor Park. Fourth official is going to show 16 minutes of additional time, and given what has happened tonight, that makes sense. We've had 2 prolonged stoppages, so another 16 minutes. It also just takes us back to that previous conversation. If the goal goes in, we've 16 minutes and it's 1 goal. But as a Cliftonville player, I'm trying to put myself in both camps, Julie. If you're 2-0 up and they go 16 minutes, you go, oh my goodness, I've defined 16 more minutes. If you're a Linfield player, it must give you one last wee jolt of energy, maybe.
Yeah, it's not a number you would see too often, 16 minutes, and you know, for Linfield that's definitely loads of time for them to push on and get a goal and try and get back into this game. And Cliftonville, as you say, will be looking for that clock to count down a lot quicker.
Fee Morgan just put there a moment ago, confirmation of that seen on our screen. Doherty's going for it. Wasn't coming down quick enough. And even though the ball positioned itself perfectly for the goal kick, Norney's kicked that one away and gone and got another one. Anything to steal a little bit more time.
Yeah, Hannah Doherty will be very disappointed with that. She's definitely got it in her locker, but her last corner wasn't good, and now that free kick as well, so she'll be frustrated with that.
McGuinness. Really been caught there. Doherty gives her a little pat in the head to apologise. Linfield trying to fight their way through. Fitzsimmons. Well, she is another big figure in that camp, isn't she?
Yeah, Mia Fitzsimmons is a big character within the dressing room, and she'll be disappointed not to have started the game. I'm not sure if that was a shot or a cross there, but again, it's maybe just not the right selection for Linfield in the final third.
Yeah, slightly rushing the decision there. Got her head to that kick forwards. Did over there. Mostly McGuinness came up against 3 players. Linfield just need to make sure they get the right pass selection here. They find the ball up the line. They end up in touch. And Bell dispossessed. Cliftonville have the throw in. And we have almost played 3 of the 16 added minutes in this Women's Irish Cup final. Sure, tired legs out there now. Good delivery in. Devine came off the post. Well, that came close to catching Curry out. Faint touch from Carla Devine, but it was almost a telling one.
Yeah, that's what we said about her whenever she came on. She's in the right place at the right time and nearly gets herself in the score sheet again.
She's at the back post. She wants this one. It's helped on by Caitlin McGuinness. And, well, it's understandable that things would stretch now. Linfield going to try and commit players a little bit higher up, and there's the header off the frame of the goal. Shows you just how close it was to being 3-0. This was the header from Caitlin McGuinness, just trying to flick it back towards goal. Bruce. Carlton. Off the back of Devine, but she's able to move it along, and Kirsty McGuinness. Well, you expected it, the bulge, when she's in that sort of area. She can hardly believe it herself that she has failed not just to score but to hit the target.
Yeah, I remember scoring a goal for Northern Ireland in her 50th cap down in that goal, and she'll be disappointed not to hit the target on that occasion.
It keeps the score at 2-0. Will that be the final score, or is there any more drama left? Morgan. Doherty just tripped there by Lynch, who, I think as gently as she can do, is asking her defender, well, where was the pass going? You didn't really help me. Chambers taking the shot on, it's off the back of Morgan. Fitzsimmons, little shove to unnerve her, and that leads to a breakdown in communication. Maybe one area that they look back on tonight and just think at times in the final third when it mattered, some of the decision making hasn't been where they needed to.
Yeah, I think they'll rue the fact they haven't been more clinical in this game. And I think it's important mentioning that they've been missing Zoe McGlynn for the last couple of months, and for me she was sort of one of the driving forces within their team throughout the first period of the season. She caused lots of problems, made the team tick, and I think she's been a massive loss for them within the last sort of 6 weeks that she's been missing.
McGuinness, watched there by Sweetlove, almost offered her the ball back and wasn't able to get her clearance too far away there, but McGee's cross cut out. There's a smart ball out wide from Averin. Terry Lockery. Giving any space there, but they have the throw in.
Yeah, I think you can see Abby McGee's just kind of tucking in more into more of a right back position now, and Cliftonville will be just looking to keep that clean sheet intact.
They're waiting for the full-time whistle. The Cliftonville bench waiting to be able to celebrate a double this season and back-to-back Irish Cups. Just lost her balance there for a moment. She wasn't jumping back to her feet. I was wondering if she was thinking she might have a shot to try and hurdle moments after, but didn't quite work out that way. Caitlin McGuinness gone for another one. Curry pulls out quickly to Doherty. Corey Chambers continues to show that industrious side to her game, working so hard. And Fee Morgan is our player of the match for this year's final. Scored the second goal in the game, and as it stands has also helped her team keep a clean sheet. There she is, sending it away. Doherty. To go. Linfield throwing lots of players into the penalty area. Norney's missed it, and the touch ends up taking it wide. Eva Miles can't believe that's not gone in.
I can't quite believe it myself. Excellent ball from Megan Bell into the middle of the box, and
oh, the goal at her mercy. And she turned round almost to think, can I say someone else touched this, and then realised. We'll look back and we will think that there have been chances as Chambers is brought down. But for the 18-year-old Miles, who, and close your ears, Julie, bagged a 5-minute hat-trick against Crusaders earlier this season, she's not shy in front of goal. She would have, of course, hoped for better. Sweet Love winds one up, and that's down the throat of Norney, who will happily sink to the ground and eat up a few more valuable seconds.
yeah, again, well held from Rachel Norney. So I'll just look to take the sting out of the game.
Chambers, McGee did well not to fall into the trap, which can easily happen when you're tired running back, being a little careless potentially, but she didn't do that. Ball coming back onto the pitch quickly to allow Linfield to throw in. Cliftonville players asking about a foul throw, not given. And it is the Reds who get the ball back, and McGuinness, it's a 1v1 over there. And Sweet Love does very well again.
Yeah, well marshalled there from Happy Sweet Love. I think you can see why Cliftonville have conceded so few goals this season, because you know, every time Linfield go to attack, there's 2-3 players round the ball, getting in the way, so Linfield can't get their head up and get a forward pass or get the ball into the box or get a shot off. And I think that's why they've kept so many clean sheets.
Really good understanding of one another. Well, that might have been a corner, but it's gone to Linfield. Lovely turn. Good play from Miles initially. Not able to turn that into anything more substantial, and the pass zipped past her teammate by McDade. Cliftonville now 3 minutes away from confirmation, and they have retained this coveted Cup prize. trying to go from back to front a little quicker now, and you can understand that urgency from Linfield for Cliftonville. It's all about being measured. Cheers from the Cliftonville fans. Learning the player of the match has gone to one of their own. It's been a really good contest tonight in Linfield. To their credit, they have not stopped either, have they? They've continued to push, continued to try and fight their way back into this game, but it's just been too much of an ask for them, and Cliftonville wanting to put the icing on the cake. As he slipped, she's picked herself back up again. And she styled it out as, I'm just going to keep the ball over here. They do have the throw in. And they have a little over 1 minute to go. They're hoping to make a couple of changes before that minute elapses. This might be the opportunity to do that. So Kirsty McGuinness comes off. Katie Markey is the player who will replace her. And Lydia Thompson is on for Naomi McLaughlin. Normally just step over the sideline. Kirsty McGuinness is making sure she walks across the pitch. Got a great round of applause from the fans in front of her. So Katie Markey and Lydia Thompson on for these final throws of the match. There's not much left in the game now. Playing at the referee's discretion. Cliftonville getting the ball back there. It was Markey keen to make an impression in this late cameo that she's been awarded. On the ball again and able to find McGuinness. Linfield getting the ball in, and Norney communication there with Burrows.
Yeah, I think they've dealt well with anything that Linfield have thrown at them at the back, and Fee Morgan's got the player of the match, but it probably could have been any one of those back three. Never mind anybody else on the pitch as well.
I can't imagine there's been a longer Women's Irish Cup final than this.
No, I wouldn't imagine so.
So in itself, it might take a little slice of history. Cliftonville must have the feeling now that the job is done and the trophy will be theirs. Sweetlove doing brilliantly to stop that one going through. And there is the full-time whistle. And it is Cliftonville's year once again. Do stay with us because the trophy presentation is coming up in the next few minutes. And Cliftonville are preparing to begin their celebrations. Nice respect paid between opponents. Lots of handshakes between rivals. And before we talk about Cliftonville, because of course we will be talking all about them in a moment, you have to pay credit to Linfield and how well they've performed in this year's final.
Yeah, I think it was a relatively even game for huge spells of it, and I think Linfield have pushed Cliftonville and Glentoran for all season, and you can see why based off their performance tonight. But as we spoke about, they're probably just going to rue not being clinical enough in the final third, and that's ultimately what's cost them the game in terms of not being able to get back into it. And fair play to Cliftonville for taking their chances and putting the ball in the back of the net.
And it's not something they've struggled with. Linfield, only Glentoran scored more than them in the Premiership. Linfield scored 60 league goals. They scored 15 goals on their way to the final. There's the goal scorers from the winning team, Cliftonville, who got past Lisburn Rangers 3-2 in the second round. 5-0 against Crusaders. I'm saying that gently, Julie, I am, honestly, in the quarter-final. And then 3-1 against Derry City and Castle Dawson in the semi-final. And this 2-0 win is why they are jumping for joy at Windsor Park. And they'll be even happier once they get their winners' medals. We'll look back at the goals, and I'm sure Cliftonville fans will have watched this back quite a few times already. Kayla McGuinness, I want to see her back as soon as she can as well, because it was an absolute peach from her. Look at this. Any forward would be proud of a strike like that.
Yeah, that's definitely one you'd want to watch on repeat. Excellent ball in from Abby McGee, as we've already said. Excellent touch and fired into the top corner.
Linfield had done so well, and it was just that moment where things clicked for Cliftonville. Good move, find the pass inside, and a real bit of quality. And then this is a fantastic header from Faye Morgan, just so commanding in the air, isn't she? She's a real presence.
Yeah, as we said, difficult to deal with in the air, and excellent delivery from Kirsty, and Faye's in the right place, and excellent header into the back of the net. Nobody's going to stop that.
We're going to hear from Faye Morgan in a moment. In fact, we can go pitch side now, and Ruby McGarvey is alongside Faye Morgan.
How does that feel, Faye? Faye, how does that feel?
Yeah, I'm so proud of my teammates, so proud of how well they worked today. We knew it was going to be a tough game, and I think everyone gave 100% last game of the season, and I think we did ourselves proud.
Not only player of the match, but goal scorer. That must feel unbelievable.
Yeah, it felt good, that one. Scoring a goal in your home ground in Windsor, couldn't top it. Plus the team, we got a 2-0 win against Linfield, our rivals, so yeah, it felt pretty good.
And the whole atmosphere today, the fans, everybody around them, how much does it mean to see all them coming out to support you?
Okay, so you can see it's growing, and we just want to put on performances for them when they do come out in their numbers, because they have been amazing the past couple of seasons, and we just want to keep growing the crowds, getting everyone out, seeing the young ones here. Yeah, it just makes it a wee bit better, beating like Blues, you know.
The team, the people around you, your management, everybody from the coaches to the background staff, what do they mean for this win?
Oh yes, we had a really hard training week, so we did, and we knew what the target was, and everyone came together, training, coaches, everyone was there, showing up, and yeah, it's amazing. It's what we wanted to do. We set out targets at the start of the season, and this is one of them, and it's a box tick.
Thank you, Faye. Congratulations.
Well, message received. It's good to beat the Blues. I mean, that's what derbies are all about, isn't it? You always want to get the better of your rivals, and tonight the bragging rights are for those in red.
Yeah, it's obviously a rivalry in the men's game as well, and the Cliftonville team will be happy to beat Linfield, as Fee's just said there, and good to see her showing how much it means to her.
Players will soon be presented with their medals, as well the match officials. The trophy is out, staging almost ready, and it's an opportunity for some of those stars to speak to family members, but also maybe to get a selfie or two as well with fans who have made their way down to the front of the advertising hoardings to try and get that moment. Lovely to see Marissa Callahan being pushed forwards before her retirement, and it's not quite the type of party she was imagining. She wanted to be on the pitch, but it's the next best thing, and they've made sure that mighty Marissa is celebrated with her own flag there. She's hoisted aloft. The contribution of that woman to her club is really hard to measure, because she has been such a role model for so long. Lots and lots of goals, hundreds of appearances for the team, and in many ways when you think of Cliftonville you think Marissa Callahan, don't you?
Yeah, no, it's something we always say. We've no idea how many times, you know, the likes of Marissa or myself or any of those players have played for the clubs that we played for, because, well, Marissa's been there her whole career, so I don't know how many years that is, probably 20 something anyway. You know, so a stalwart of Cliftonville, and you know, she'll be a massive miss for them going into next season.
Well, let's hear from Marissa. Ruby's been able to grab her for a chat.
Marissa, describe that feeling.
Unbelievable feeling. Really hard to watch. It is really hard to be a spectator, but I'm so proud of the girls. I didn't doubt them tonight. We prepared so well this week, focused on us, focused on what we had to do, and I thought the girls were outstanding, especially Fee Morgan. I thought she was super. She won every single ball, really demanded the defence, and just so proud of every one of them.
Disappointed to not be able to play, and obviously you've had such an impact in this team's success thus far, but proud of the girls for what they've done.
Yeah, obviously it's disappointing not getting to play, but you know what? Someone else gets an opportunity, and I thought every single girl was outstanding now tonight. Staff, the players, all the backroom staff, like the fans as well. I mean, they've come out in their hundreds tonight again, and I'm just so proud to be part of it. And you know, I know a few of the girls who's been injured the last few weeks, you know, it's coming to the end of their career and they've had injuries. I just missed out on one match, but listen, it's been a great campaign this year. We were absolutely gutted on Sunday not lifting the trophy against Glentoran, but I think the girls took that into tonight and just went out and got the win.
I think it's safe to say you're quite popular among the Cliftonville fans and players. How did it feel to get that reception there?
Listen, this club's been part of my life since I was 13. I'm talking 27 years. So it's been a massive part of my life, and I know most of them fans out there by name. So yeah, it's a great club to be part of. I love the club. I'll continue to be part of the club, and I'll continue to inspire those young girls who want to wear the green jersey or the red jersey when they're older. But yeah, I love the club, and I'm just so thankful that I was able to spend 27 years playing for them.
Thank you, Marissa. Congratulations.
There's your answer, Julie. 27 years. That is absolutely remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm glad you cleared that one up for us. But yeah, Marissa has been inspirational, you know, for Cliftonville and Northern Ireland as well. And as we've said, she'll be a massive miss for the team going forward on the pitch. But as you know, she's just said there, she's going to still be involved in the background, and I'm not sure what kind of role that's going to be in, but she'll be there working with the young players, working with the senior players, and passing on her knowledge and experience.
Well, celebrating with family, those most important on this big night as they get ready for the presentation. The dignitaries are out, they are ready. And that presentation begins now with the player of the match. Cliftonville defender and goal scorer on the night, Fee Morgan, who is being recognised for her contributions in this game. by the IFA Director of Women's Football, Angela Platt. Nice memento for her to look back at this game before she even thinks about that medal, which is all you can think about, I would have thought, as soon as the game ends. And this is the goal. Towering presence guides that in, and it just drops delightfully under the crossbar, or agonizingly, depending on your perspective. The match officials are given their medals for their part in this game as well, presented by Neil Morrow, the Vice Chair of the IFA's Women's Challenge Cup Committee. And I have to thank Neil as well for all his help in the build-up to this game. He is a font of all knowledge, and he has aided my preparations. So fair play to Neil, as he, it's no secret, has a great love of Linfield, doesn't he?
Yes, he's been with Linfield for many years now, Neil, and you know, he's obviously on the committee as well as, but I'm sure he's disappointed with the result tonight, but he'll still fulfill his role regardless.
Yeah, there to help hand out the runners-up medals. He might have hoped that they weren't going to blue tonight, but he's doing his best to at least seem impartial there as he does that. And there's no disgrace in being runners-up. It can fuel the fire for future years. And when you look at the age profile of that Linfield team, I think there's plenty more to come from them.
Yeah, as we've spoken about, you know, they haven't been in the final in quite a few years, and they've made it to the final this year, and unfortunately for them, they've ended up runners-up. So, as you say, they'll have more motivation and more drive to go on and achieve success next year.
And there's a glimpse of Ashley Hutton as well.
It's her daughter as well that Rebecca Bassett has in her arms.
She's saying, you have to give Rebecca back her medal.
I think Emily's keeping that.
I think there'll be some sharing to be done. Cliftonville are heading towards the red carpet that has been rolled out. Linfield players standing to applaud at the side as Cliftonville's cup winners collect their medals from Elaine Junk, the chair of the IFA's Women's Challenge Cup Committee. Another brilliant servant to the women's game. Yeah, somebody that gives up so much of her time to help progress the women's game. Alongside a very busy day job that she also has as well. So I was going to say, she somehow seems to be at every game. She's so dedicated, Elaine, and she's making sure every winning player gets their medal. The captain, Kelsey Burrows, will be the last to get hers before the trophy lift takes place. Caitlin McGuinness, brilliant sense of humour. I don't think that was the picture they're going to use, but she was ready for every type of photograph. And now alongside Kelsey Burrows, they lift the Irish Cup for the second year in a row as Cliftonville complete a cup double. 2 goals on the night saw off Linfield, and 2 trophies to celebrate for those players, and especially Marissa Callahan, as she bows out of football after a remarkable career which has spanned almost 3 decades. That's what they have competed for, and that is what they have won. It does feel? Only right that I ask you this question, Julie, because you know Marissa Callahan and Ashley Hutton so well, and for both of them to be retiring tonight, is it a bit of a strange feeling for you sitting here and watching that when they're your contemporaries? They're people that you know better than most.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate one of them has to be on the losing side, and I'm sure they're both disappointed they weren't able to get on the pitch tonight. As we spoke to them earlier, and they were both saying that to us. But we've already kind of given Marissa the accolades and the impact that she's had, but Ashley the same.
Yeah. Every time I turned up for Northern Ireland, Judy, it was you and Ashley, thick as thieves, on and off the pitch as Cliftonville celebrations continue. There's lots coming up on the BBC in the coming days. Northern Ireland's women in action against Iceland in the first leg of their Women's Nations League playoff. Friday at 7:15. Watch it live on the iPlayer, followed up by Sports Sound on Radio Ulster and BBC Sounds on Saturday afternoon from 2 o'clock. And then the second leg out in Iceland, Tuesday the 28th at 5:45. Once again, live for you on the iPlayer. Crucial games as Northern Ireland take on Iceland. Here tonight, it has been a pleasure to be in your company. Julie Nelson, thank you so much for being with us. It's been lovely speaking to you once again as well. Thank you for joining our coverage of the 2025 Irish Cup final. Cliftonville standing proud once again. The full-time score, Cliftonville 2, Linfield 0.